This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. As cliche as this lyric, this phrase, this metaphor may be, it has stuck with me my entire life. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Okay, what exactly does that mean? I grew up in the South, Houston, Texas to be exact, in a very conservative, religious family. My community was full of machismo. I'm Puerto Rican and Black, and African American and Puerto Rican. So rooted in this culture that I grew up in was this ideal that men needed to be a certain way, women needed to be a certain way. Gender roles were very clear and very assigned, and if you didn't show up to church every Wednesday and sometimes twice on Sundays in your assigned gender roles church drag, you would be condemned or exiled. It would not be a good look if you didn't show up how you needed to be. So rules were set, rules were in place, but at the same time, there was this duality that we were all being told from our youth. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. No matter how you were, you should shine that light. So I'm getting this double message, this community that is so infused and instilled with love is also, when I walk down the street and I'm switching a little bit, it is not acceptable. From an age where I don't even know where that switch is coming from, but it is instilled in me, and that is just me. If I'm lisping or singing a little bit too high, that's not what you're supposed to do. But this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. So what I had to do from a very young age was kind of set out this light that was fabricated, that was not rooted in me, and tuck away this natural light that I had that was feminine, that was simply me, that other people did not accept and did not like, which was very, very tough. But, in the Christian culture, in the Catholic culture that I grew up in, you just put a good face on. That light that I had, I didn't understand where it was coming from. I needed to figure out what this light meant to me. So fast forward, as I'm living this double life, living this life of dualities, going out and saying that I'm one way, but knowing in my heart that I'm another way, I find that, performing and theater is a place that is rooted in truth for me. I take on these other hats when I go out, and I can be these other people and exist through these other characters, but I still didn't know myself. What was lovely for me is I got to go to theater camp when I was younger, and this is the first time that this theme of light came back to me. I remember walking into camp and seeing so many different types of people all across different spectrums and genders and everything. They were so loved and accepted, and everyone in my eyes, I remember stepping into camp, and everyone was glowing. And I was like, I want to live through this. I want to be just like all these other people. So going on, I would we all gained really close relationships and everything, and I fell in love for the first time with everyone, several different people. And then I returned home, and this feeling, you know, that like I actually was shining, I was glowing. I didn't know where this was coming from, but these were my people. These people that were uninhibitedly themselves. And when I returned home, I had to tuck that away and present this falseness once again, that I knew what this light was, and you know, these rules that are in place, what a man is supposed to be, what a woman is supposed to be, I need to live by those same rules to survive. But I had a friend, my best friend Milo, one of the first day of school of coming back from camp. He looked at me and said, honey, you're glowing. Something's different about you. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you've got your light back. We'll talk about it when you're ready. And I was like, okay. Fast forward again. We're going along, and I remember this night so specifically, so I would always drive Milo home. Side note, Milo now works for the Trevor Project, which is really great. I was driving Milo home over the lake, and he was like, take the long route. We gotta talk. I was like, all right, cool, okay, we'll go. Me, myself, just like timid. Like, what do you want to talk about? He's like, pull a car over towards the lake, and we're just gonna sit and like look at it for a bit. And I can see like the sun coming up over the horizon. There's the light again. It's coming towards me. I don't know why. And he, in that instance, Milo decides to come up to me. And it was a really beautiful moment. He was like, hey, I just want to let you know that I am gay. And we're not going to make this about you right now, but I know and I feel that, like, you know, a part of your life has to do with your queerness. And I was like, oh! What is this? Like, what is happening? And I was like, oh, well, yeah, I like people. Because I do. You know, that is part of my essence. Like, in that moment, I was like, you know, talking to him about, you know, the relationships I had at camp and like these other people who just like were so finite in their femininity or their masculinity when they were told otherwise or the society is telling them otherwise. It was so beautiful to me. And he was like, that's great and all, but what are you gonna do and tell your, like, how are you gonna tell your family? And I was like, I don't know how to do this, like this is not what we're taught. Like, this is not the rule, this is not the rules, this is not the basis, it is unacceptable. So fast forward then, right before I left to go to college, I decided to come out to my mom. And every morning my mom would wake up to go to work at 4 a.m., super dark outside. So I decided, my flight's later that night, I'm gonna tell her that morning. I rush into her room, hide under the blanket, in the darkness. Of course, there comes this darkened light again. I shut out the lights and I'm like, Mom, I have to tell you something. And she's like, what? I gotta go. And I was like, okay, but I need you to know that I like people. And she's like, okay, what does this mean? You need to figure something out. She's like, choose one. And I was like, I don't think that's possible for me. And she was like, listen, we're not telling your grandparents, we're not telling the rest of the family because they are not, like, it's unacceptable and we can't live this way. You can't live this way. You need to make up your mind. And she was like, you know, this is you and God. Like, you need to talk to your grandparents, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there in the dark under this blanket like, well, I did it. And so then I leave and I go to college and I'm like, all right, cool, this is my chance to like start anew. Leave this darkness of my life behind and find my light. But when I get to college, it's not different for me. I'm still very like sheltering of myself. I'm still hiding this light within of my queerness that I can't access. I still don't understand it. Why is that? I don't know yet. So one of my favorite teachers gave us an assignment, like a third week of school, to write a letter to someone who was like very prominent in our lives. And I was an overachiever and I wanted to write 3 letters instead of 1. One was to someone that I fell in love with at summer camp, one was to my mom, and then one was to this asshole that I hate, so I threw that one away. And our professor wanted us to read one of the letters aloud, the one, like, the letters aloud that meant the most. So I decided not to read the one to my mom because I felt like that was too much for me. It was like a vulnerability that I was like not ready to access because I was like at this point still trying to like finesse and like discover who I was. So I tucked it away in one of my journals, and I just read the thing that I wrote about the person that I loved. My teacher was like, great, everyone, thanks so much. Ashton, you stay after class. She's like, come here, sit in my office. And here comes this thing with light again. She's like, I see something within you that you are holding back. She was like, there's a ball of light within you. And I was like, okay, cool, this is fun, whatever. Like, I keep hearing this theme of like, without my life. And I'm sure many of you all have as well. But I'm like, what is she trying to tell me? Like, what, like, okay, like, what am I gonna, like, oh, cool, I have this ball of light within me. What does that mean? And she was like, this light is your truth. And once you access that, you will be free. And that blew my mind, but I still was like, sheltered and protecting myself and a bit of an asshole. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. I have to go write a paper now. So I went on, fast forward a few more years. I was going to the beach to celebrate one of my friend's birthdays. And I was like having this crisis of like, yo, again, returning to this light, like, what does this mean to me? And by this point, I was like, yes, I am queer. Like, I love myself. Like, I exist on this like spectrum of like gender and sexuality that is like not completely finite and not against any, like, not sitting on one part of the binary. And my friend was like, all right, girl, get it together. Put on whatever you want. Let's go to the beach and just lay in the sun. I was like, okay. And I wore this like white nightgown. We were sitting there, and this woman comes across and was like, oh, can I take your photo? And we were like, cool, yeah. She's like, oh, cool, give me your handle stuff. Me not thinking, oh, wait, I haven't like talked to my family in detail about all these things. She's like, cool, we'll tag you. She tagged us. Got some phone calls over and over again. I was like, oh, this is a part of the light that I am sheltering from, you know, this part of my family, this part of the community that I was raised in, that I'm away from now. And I got a call from my mom, and she was like berating me, and I like instantly went into another period of darkness, which we don't need to get into. But I sat on the couch, and I was like speechless. She's like, I didn't raise you this way. You know, you can go do whatever you want to do, blah, 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 but just know that like this is not how you need to be. And I was like, I don't know, I don't think about this right now. I am like pushed into a corner of darkness, and like, where is this light? Like, how do I explain who I am? And then I had an epiphany. This is when I need to give her that letter. And within that letter, it talked about my professor saying, you know, there's a ball of light within you, and once you access that, you'll access your truth. And I explained to her, you know, like, my queerness is my light, is my truth. To pull us all out of the darkness, we have to access that light. We have to access that truth. And beyond the darkness, all of this darkness that we have is love, is light. And she called me after she received the letter in the mail and was like, I didn't know you felt this way. I didn't know like all the things you said about your body and the way you walk, blah, blah. I didn't know that this was affecting you. I was like, how could you not? But still, she was like, you know, I love you, and like I understand this, and so that was that. And then I was like, okay, how can I make this even more truthful to you, more relevant to you? And I talked to her because she works in a place where she has to deal with a lot of people who are in this institution because of their dark things that happened to her. And I said to her, hey, I was teaching in the South this past summer, and I decided to do a piece that was about darkness and light instead of presenting like a normal song or about it. And there was a kid who was transgender, and them and their parents came up to me and was like, thank you for being the light, because it was about to get real dark for them. And we saw it and we knew it. But you coming into the space, spreading that light, opening up the conversation, means a lot for us in this community. And so I explained that to her too, and she was like, okay, I guess I get it now. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of groundwork that we all still need to do, but beyond the darkness is our light, and if we can access our light, we can access our truth.